Hello people, it's Gino here from RealEverydayEnglish.com. Today I'm going to be covering the same topic as covered in Unit 26 of the English Grammar in Use book, and that topic just happens to be can, could and able to. Let's do this. Happy Sunday, welcome back to the channel. If you are a person who is trying to improve your English and become a more natural and confident sounding English speaker, then you're definitely in the right place. And if this is your first time here, then you should probably consider subscribing to the channel. And if you do subscribe, please make sure you hit the little bell notification so that you never miss a weekly upload. 2 points to make just before we get into this week's topic. The first one is you're probably wondering why I'm wearing a bob hat inside my house. And that's because I refused to put the central heating on until November. So I'm still at the very end of October. So therefore I'm not putting the heating on. I'll wear a hoodie and a bob hat in my house instead. And the second point to make is that I am not actually using the examples from this book to teach this lesson today. What I'm doing is I'm teaching the same topic but in my own way. So for those of you who have a copy of this book and use it, it might help assist your understanding of that particular unit, okay? I'm going to break it down by each individual word. So first I'm going to cover can, then I'm going to cover could, then I'm going to cover able to. I'm going to show you how we structure a sentence and give you some examples. Okay, so let's take a deep dive into the word can. There are three main reasons why we use the word can. One is ability or possibility. Two is to make requests. And three is to ask for or to give permission. Can is an auxiliary modal verb. So the structure is the word can plus the infinitive of the verb. It's the be infinitive, okay? We don't add to. So for example, it's I can scratch my head. Not I can to scratch my head. No to, just the infinitive. I can scratch my head. The negative of can is either can't or cannot. Okay, so the first use of can is ability or possibility. So I'm going to give you some examples. So for example, I can touch the end of my nose. She can ride a bicycle. I can't see you. I can't see you. Can you see me? We also use can with regard to ability and possibility in the present, but in relation to a future possibility. So an example of this would be, can you help me with my homework later? So we're using it in the present, but it's in regard to a future possibility because you're not actually going to help me with my homework until later on. I can also give you another example. So I can say something like, sorry, I'm busy this week, but I can help you next week. So we're using it in the present, but it's in relation to the future. Second use of the word can is to make requests. And we make requests with the word can in a question format. So in other words, we use a question to make a request, but it's not actually a real question, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Okay, so to give you an example, I can say something like, can you make a brew, please? A brew is English slang for a cup of tea, okay? So I can say, can you make a brew to my friend or someone? I'm not actually asking, does he have the ability or the know-how to make a brew? Okay, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking him to do it. Can you make a brew for me, please? It's a request. Some other examples of this would be, can you pass me the salt? Can you pass me the salt? Or, can you read the next paragraph? Can you read the next paragraph? And this use of the word can for requests is informal. So this is the stuff you will hear every day when you're in this country, when natives are speaking to each other in the street in a non-formal setting. this is how you'll hear it said. Third use of the word can is to ask for or to give permission. Now, there are other words that we also use to do this, such as may, could, or might, but can is the most common and it's informal. The other words that I've just explained, so may, might, or could, are very formal, so we would only use them in very formal settings. So to give you an example of how we use the word can to ask for or give permission, I'll go with these two examples. So the first one is, can I use your toilet, please? Can I use your toilet, please? So in that case, you're asking permission, okay? And if I was to give permission for something using the word can, I would say something like, you can borrow my car. You can borrow my car. And that is me giving permission. Let's move on to the word could. So the word could has two main uses. The first one is to talk about past possibility or ability in the past, or to make requests. And we structure it basically the same. So we use the auxiliary verb or the modal verb could plus the be infinitive. No to, remember, just the be infinitive. And the negative is either could not or couldn't. Let's tackle the first use, which is to talk about past possibility and ability. Okay, so to give you an example, I would say something like, I could walk when I was 9 months old. I could walk when I was 9 months old. Another example would be, when she arrived home, she couldn't open the door. When she arrived home, she couldn't open the door. Now this is where the word could gets a little bit more complicated, because when we use could positive, so could positive and couldn't negative, we use them for general ability in the past, okay? So I could walk when I was 9 months old. That's a general ability and it's positive to express that I had the ability to do it, okay? And we use the negative couldn't to speak about general ability as well, okay? So to give you an example, she couldn't walk until she was 2 years old. So that is general ability as well. But here's the complicated bit. Sometimes when we are speaking about a specific special occasion, we use was, were able to as the positive and couldn't as the negative. Now I'm sure your head's spinning at this moment in time, but I'm going to give you an example so then you can see what I mean by this. So an example would be, a tiger escaped from the zoo yesterday. The staff were able to capture it. So that's the positive. They were able to do it, okay? And it's a specific special occasion. So we don't use could, we use were able to instead. Were or was able to. And the same example in the negative to show you that we still use couldn't would be, a tiger escaped from the zoo yesterday. The staff couldn't catch it. And that's the negative, okay? So just keep that in mind, that when we're speaking about a specific special occasion, we use was, were able to for the positive instead of could. Last but not least, let's talk about able to be able to. We use this to talk about ability. That's it. We use it to talk about ability. And the sentence structure is slightly different as well, because we use the verb to be plus able plus to plus the infinitive. So we plus the to onto the infinitive of the verb, okay? So to eat, to drive, to walk, etc. So to give you an example, I am able to drive. Another example would be, she is able to ride a bike. Able to can also be used in basically all of the tenses in the English language. Examples would be, I was able to drive, I will be able to drive, I have been able to drive. And it also has an infinitive form. So to give you an example, where we actually say it as to be able to. So to give you an example of this, I could say something like, I would like to be able to sing. And that's to be able to in the infinitive form. Hope you guys enjoyed this grammar lesson. I know grammar lessons are a bit boring compared to my usual content, but nonetheless, they are necessary. If you did enjoy it, you did find it useful, please give it a big thumbs up and share it with your English learning friends. You really help the channel when you do that. See you people in the next video. Have a great week. Ciao for now. Peace and love. Bye.